hottest station is now live for your enjoyment with host iamBranded.
This is Nexxlegacy Radio. I am Branded here with royalty. This guy, I've been a fan of this guy for a hot minute. You know what I'm saying? Not just being an original DJ for Sir Mix-a-Lot, but this guy's, he had a heavy hand in hip-hop history, in my opinion. And I want to welcome my man, you know what I'm saying, DJ Nasty Nes to Nexxlegacy. What's up, bro?
Yo, what's going on, man? A hot minute. That's only 60 seconds. That's not that long. Wow, I see how it is.
Hey, man.
It's all good. I see how it is.
But Ness, it's timeless, right? So, I could say you've been doing this for decades, but that sounds too long, bro. Like, you still hot with the memories and everything attached to it, bro. So, give credit where credit's due. It's still relevant, in my opinion, and others to this day, man. So give yourself credit.
Well, I'll put it to you like this. I've been doing this. I think it started like around 1979, so over 40 plus years, doing this, and to be able to still be asked to be on someone's show like yours is definitely an honor. And I just want to say I truly appreciate you taking time out to talk to me, because it makes me feel like I'm still relevant. And you could be talking to someone else, but you picked me, and that means a lot.
Listen,
does. It really does.
I not just seeking you out because we've never had dialogue into this moment, but I always feel like we should give credit to the people that have molded and shaped our music lives and even our personal lives to a degree. And you rank right up there, man. I mean, for this reason, it's not just your contributions to music, but the memories that you come with and attached to it with some of those moments is historic, man. So, we got to give you your flowers while you're still breathing, but also just say thank you for your contributions, man, straight up.
All right. Well, thank you for the kind words, man. So what's on our agenda, man? How long do we got? Like 30 minutes?
Man, we got enough time to kind of talk shop about the music business and what you've been up to and all that stuff. So, off top, Ness, how you been, man? What's new with you?
Well, what's new with me? I finally hit the 60 mark, so I'm up there in age, but I'm still alive. I can still do a sidekick. I can still punch.
Still young.
I can.
Still young.
I can. You know what? That's a nice thing about it. This music. If you put me next to like my friends I went to school with in high school that are the same age as me, they have zero hair on their head. You can tell the difference, man. You can tell that they don't listen to hip hop, but I do. So it's kind of kept me young. I'm really thankful for that. But I listen to all kinds of music too. It's not just hip hop. I love 70s, the 60s. I love pop music. I love the Beatles, Rolling Stones, Elvis Presley. I love everything, man.
Man, you've named a lot of icons, right? But also, you got to throw yourself up top to a lot of your contributions in music. What was the one moment? You said 79, and to me, I always feel like, because I'm a late 70s baby, going into the 80s and whatnot. What was the one moment about hip hop that gravitated to you to the point where it's like, this is a moment I'll never take away, and I need to put my stamp on this culture real quick. What was the one moment?
There were a couple, because I was there when I first started playing it on the radio, and people would call in and say or complain, oh, this is a fad, it won't be around. And I told people, I said, you know what? In 20 years, people that are into hip hop are going to be making a decent living out of it. And I was correct, and I said it's going to be the biggest thing. But I think one of the biggest moments for me was when my boss kept getting mad at me for playing local music. Because back in those days, it wasn't really a heard of playing someone local, especially if you're in Seattle and you're playing hip-hop. Right. Back in those days, hip-hop only came from New York, really, if you thought about it. And I was playing music from a guy by the name of Sir Mix-a-Lot. And the reason why is every time I played this stuff, everyone kept calling in and wanted to hear it over and more and more. And to the point where my boss, I don't know if he thought I was getting payola for it, but I wasn't. He was yelling at me saying, "Man, you gotta stop playing this, man. Who's this Mix-a-Lot?" But now, now I'm sure he regrets saying that. But he ended up letting me continue to play that, and that's something I'll never forget. Where I really believed in this artist, and we eventually teamed up together and formed the record label with Ed Locke called Nasty Mix Records. But yeah, I just remember those days when he was complaining why I kept playing this guy named Mix-a-Lot. Although there's another time in 1987 when the new owners of the radio station kept wondering why I kept playing this music by a guy named MC Hammer, because no one really knew who he was yet. Only a few people knew that, and when they thought of him, they thought of him more as a dancer, not as a rapper. But I was playing his music, and then they got mad at me for playing his music all the time. So they threatened to fire me. So this time my job was really on the line. So I had to call up Hammer and go, "Man, Hammer, I'm sorry, man. They want me to play your music anymore. But don't worry. It's going to come a time when you're going to be so big that that you're going to have to play your music." And he appreciated that. And I told him, "You can't touch this." Was going to be his biggest record. But the first song I started playing from him was it was a Benny King song. I think it was called "Thrill Is Gone." I think he redid that, and then he came out with "Ring 'Em" and "Let's Get It Started." And man, my phone just rang off the hook, But man, my bosses, they were getting suspicious and said, like, why keeps playing this guy we never heard of before?
Right.
So yeah, those are a couple of memorable moments.
With Sir Mix-a-Lot, was that posse on Broadway that had people that caught people's attention at that point in time, where people kept calling wanting that song?
Oh no, this is way before Posse on Broadway. He would every week he would record new songs in his bedroom, record it on a 4-track cassette tape, and then he would dub it onto a regular cassette tape, and then he would give it to me. We would test songs on the air, and the ones that ended up on the album that we ended up putting out that I got requests for were a one cut called "Let's G." Another one was the biggest one was "Square Dance Rap." This is way before Posse on Broadway, but "Square Dance Rap," where he has the Smurf voice, kind of sounds like Nucleus. That one, and then once Posse on Broadway came out, next thing I know, we were on MTV Raps, and man, I was like enjoying the single life when that happened. Oh yeah. Everything that you read about being a rock star. Yeah, I lived that life, man.
DJ Nasty Nes is my guest on Nexxlegacy Radio, and you mentioned something about just the historic moments where you catch a record, it's on fire, people call in, they going crazy for certain songs, right? That was the essence of what made radio real back in the day, right? Like, it was cool to call in and say, "I want this song." And hearing your perspective, it's a trip to, find out that, there's other executive heads that's just like, "Oh, no, you can't play this," even though the people want it. So when you look at radio now, Ness, as far as just the evolution of it, right now you're on like a XM radio station, but we still have AM, FM radio, right? So how do you feel about it now? And what are some of the things, if you could, what would you change about radio if you could?
Well, it's so different now. Back then, how I knew a record was going to hit is after I played it on the radio, like when I played NWA and Eazy for the first time, although I had to edit the version I had to do my own edit on it, the retail stores would call me up and saying, "Man, we're getting calls off the hook asking who this artist is." And that kind of, helped me know what was going to be really popular and big. Nowadays, it's really different, I mean, that's why on commercial radio, terrestrial radio, you hear the same songs over and over again because, they're getting paid to play that stuff. So as far as breaking, like, independent underground hip-hop, you don't really hear that anymore. And that's where I help keep that alive because I have a bunch of DJs who report to me on rapattacklibs.com. They're college radio DJs. And college radio's stations where you don't have to get permission from your boss on what you can and cannot play. And there are stuff you can play uncensored after 9 o'clock. So that's how I keep independent hip hop alive is through stations like that, through college radio. So I don't really mess with commercial radio anymore, and all that kind of stuff is based on numbers, social media numbers, blah blah blah, and yeah, it's a whole new ball game, man. I don't even deal with what's going on right now. Like a friend of mine, he said, "Yeah, are you familiar with this new song? Yeah, what's her name? I think her name was Angel or something." And I go, "No, what is it?" He goes, "I can't believe you don't know the song. You haven't heard it?" I go, "What's it called?" He goes, "It's called ABCDEFU."
What?
I say, what? Have you heard of it? I guess it's an upcoming big hit record. It's called ABCDEFU. And it's a girl, She's 17 years old. And in the song, all she says is, like, she uses the F word, but there's a radio edit, but she's saying F you to everybody in it, except her dog. And people really love this record. So just remember that I told you about this song, because you're going to go back and go,
right.
Damn, Nasty Nes just broke a new record on my show called ABCDEFU.
I'm going to go check it out. I'm going to look for it and see what's up. But I always look at radio like this. It's important for us to realize and understand. I'm glad you still have a pulse in this business when it comes to radio, because it could be, I just remember the memories that will never, ever, ever go away based on what I listened to. When I was in the car, I listened to, when I heard, you from, out there in Seattle. So when I heard Posse on Broadway back in the day, Let's Get It Started.
Oh, okay.
Straight Outta Compton, NWA, Run DMC, any one of them, like, UTFO, Rest in Peace, Tango Kid. All that stuff brings back so many memories that, this generation, I don't know about you, but I feel like a lot of people take the radio and music for granted to a degree. Do you agree or not?
Take it for granted. I don't know how to answer that one, because a lot of people I talk to now, they don't even listen to the radio. They're listening to Spotify. They create their own playlists. And a lot of stations now are, like the show I do, it's online. You can see the archive, or you can listen to it live online. Just go on the computer, punch it in, and there it is, man. Mixcloud. Mixcloud is a great place to hear all kinds of different music, man. Yeah, so like I said, a lot of people I know, they don't really listen to radio anymore. And if I listen to radio out here in LA, there's only one station I really listen to, and it plays old school. It's out of Oxnard, but the signal is strong. It's called Q1047, or is it 94? No, Q1047. They play nothing but all the old school jams, and they do a great job in programming it. Because that kind of stuff, when you listen to it, it's like you start remembering back in the days, like, oh, I remember what I was doing and this came on, and that's the magic of music,
Just like video, when I know, this was more back in the mid to early to mid 90s, when the box, when we had the videos where you had to, check out the videos or whatnot, like those, it was a lot of fun, because we was able, and you know what time it is, Ness, we had to, it was fun to be able to see and experience that. Some of the videos that debuted and stuff like that through that channel or whatnot, memories, man. I mean, that's to me part of a culture that is needed. And to your point, you're right. There's so much accessible, people can, create their own playlists and stuff like that. But I always believe in memories, man. Sometimes it's hard to create a memory that you can create yourself. And sometimes you just got to listen, not just to the radio, but just listen and be excited when people are breaking records like they did back in the day, though.
Well, when you brought up the box, it brought back memories for me, because back then, not only was I at Nasty Mix Records promoting records, but I was also a DJ on the radio breaking records. So I had labels from Profile, Def Jam, Virgin, Tommy Boy, everyone calling me up every week to play their records on my show. But I remember asking some of them, I go, man, I always see your record on the box. How do you get people to keep paying to play that one song on the box? So this is just how I learned how to get our records, our videos played. You know, the label would create a budget, and then they would pay someone, and then they would just order it from their home and give them money and pay for it.
Okay.
So I was like, oh, cool. So next thing I know, man, all our videos getting played over and over again on the box. Yeah, that was a secret I swore never to tell.
Yeah, man. I remember you get like a certain video, you would get it back to back, like 3 in a row, 4 in a row in some cases or whatever. And I'm like, okay. It was like that when the Chronic, what was it, Nothing But a G Thing. I remember that used to get a ton of play. Like, you know, it used to be like 2, 3, 4 times in a row where you would get that.
Yeah,
that
I promoted that record. I was part of that record with Interscope Records and Death Row. So I learned all the ins and outs on how to promote a record legally and illegally. You know, whatever works, that's what I use.
There you go. DJ Nasty Nes is my guest on Nexxlegacy Radio. And how do you feel about the culture of hip hop right now? You got a lot of moving pieces. You got a lot of women in this industry now. That's a resurgence, I guess you could say, in the culture. But how do you feel about it? Because you span a few decades, so I know you've seen the evolution of it all. But how do you feel about it now?
Well, before I tell you how I feel about this, did you realize not one time during this interview did you tell me your name? I don't even know what your name is. What's your name?
My name is Charles. I go by iamBranded on Nexxlegacy Radio.
iamBranded? Brandon or Branded?
Yes, Branded. BRANDED.
Oh, okay. iamBranded.
Yes,
so I can call you.
Yes.
I can call you iamBranded or Charles, right?
Yeah, yes, sir. Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. So there you go. So how I feel about hip hop now? I tell you, my answer is probably going to be different than what you probably think I'd answer it. I'm noticing now as I get older, I'm starting to see people even younger than me passing away. You know, I mean, Kango Kid just passed away last week. God, to this morning, Jesse Daniels from the Force MDs. And if you were down with hip hop, even though they weren't just hip hop, they sang. They were like R&B, but they were part of hip hop. You know, he passed away, and I think there's only like one member left alive in that group. But man, he was like one of the main ones, and just to see people pass away, and I remember when Eazy-E passed away in '95 from AIDS, and we didn't even know what AIDS was. I mean, I heard of it, but I didn't know much about it. And I just saw him not too long ago prior to that, but just now, especially now, you're seeing more and more people pass away, either fatally by getting shot, or a lot of them either through COVID or through cancer, and that's kind of sad, and I remember many years ago, a friend of mine said, you're going to reach that age that once you reach that age, you're going to see a lot of your friends starting to pass away. And not only am I seeing artists pass away, but a lot of my DJ friends I'm seeing pass away. Most recently, a guy by the name of Lover J from Olympia, Washington. He was part of the Zulu Nation in Seattle, and he was actually going to be the executive editor of my book that I'm writing, a memoir. He passed away, and man, it's just like I just talked to the guy. Next thing I know, he got COVID and he's gone. So that's the part of hip hop that is kind of sad for me when you see things like that. Especially if you know them, they're close to you, and then you see them pass away. Like man, just the other night, New Year's Eve, man, I had a little scary in my life, man. So my wife begged me, you got to go to ER. But, I'm around. I'm okay, man. I'm not going to worry anybody. But it's like, God, my time's, I'm not going to be here forever. I hope I live another 20 years, but you just don't know. You just never know what tomorrow may bring. And that's changed how I look at life now, how I treat people and how I carry myself in the public and so forth. But, yeah, man, so that's how I look at the difference in changes in hip hop now. Just seeing people that you know and love pass away, it really hurts.
I'm with you on that same sentiment. It's like when we lost Kango Kid, right? Like him and I, we would always message each other back, and he left me one message on IG. Yeah, good guy, rest in peace. And we were trying to set up something like this, and and I know he was going through his battles, and we were doing that, giving people flowers while they're still here, and he appreciated it. And you're right, life is too short. I mean, the hip-hop community and all communities, really, when you think about it, life is way too short. You don't know when your time is. And we lost people, not just by violence, but just by regular life. Like, like you said earlier, and it's different. You got to take that approach differently now and just appreciate moments, man. Like, and that's why it's important for me to tell you that I appreciate your contributions, because you've done that throughout your career, man, and still have an open ear to what's going on nowadays. And I think that's important for us to just, again, like I said earlier, man, just say thanks, man, because we don't know when that moment hits. And it's just important for people and peers, family, loved ones, whatever, just to say, you know what, I appreciate you.
Yeah, you hit it right on point. Charles Branded. I don't know what to call you. Charles Branded or Branded Charles or Branded. Okay, well, anyway.
Either or both, man. That's how I see it, man. You my guy. DJ Nasty Nes is my guest on Nexxlegacy Radio. And, with hip-hop, with music, radio, the evolution of it, I mean, there's still a lot of creative heads out here in this industry now. So, I know how we kind of talked about, like, how you feel about the industry, but, let me get that spotlight to women for a minute, because you came up in that era as well when we saw the powerhouses like the, Latifahs and the Lights and the Yo-Yos and so on and so forth. Mm-hmm. You see that resurgence right now for women. Isn't it a great thing to see in this business now that women are doing a lot more in this business too?
Oh, yeah. Like I remember MC Light from day one, and now she's like the voice of TV hosting shows, and I think she's got her own. She's gonna be on her own TV series. I remember like Lala, Anthony. And she used to be on the radio, and then now she's on like big hit TV shows. Yeah, I think it's great to see women come up like that, and there's special kind of women that make it, because there's a lot of women that are just there and they'll give it up, sex and all that, and they get nowhere, man. But the ones that do make it, stick to their guns and don't give it up, and they let you know. Like, I can tell when a girl's not playing, it's go, no, don't come at me like that, Ness. I ain't about that. Right. Girls that make you know that they're like that, I respect women like that. But the ones that are opposite, and I don't even know where any of them are now. So yeah, I think it's great to see women come up. I love that. Mm-hmm.
It's important. It's definitely, especially if we all want to try to do something to evolve the culture of hip hop or whatnot. And one thing I could safely say when it comes to you, not just having a heavy hand in the business, but having that ear as well. Is there any production thing, anything with music, artist development? Do you still feel like there's a need for artist development, or the way the game is right now, it's just like, a lot of people just put out mixtapes and then if it catch fire.
Yeah, it's really different now, because it's all about social media, man. Building up your social media numbers, creating something and trying to get it to go viral. That's the only difference about it now. But I think one thing that I try to do when I'm working closely with an artist is teaching them to be on time, to do a radio interview, be on time, to do radio drops, to participate on calls with DJs, to be active, not just lay around and just pray that or hope that your record's just going to do well. I still promote. I still get behind and promote records, and try to promote the artists. There's a lot of artists out there that just don't want to put in the work. They just think it's, they put something out because it sounds good, and then they're going to blow up. And then when it doesn't do anything, they get mad at you because it didn't do anything. Right. That's because they didn't do anything. So yeah, I think it's important to be able to kind of like raising a baby, maybe, a kid. You got to teach them. And I don't think a lot of these artists are being taught, how to talk like when you get on the show or something like that, you don't go on there and start cussing all the time, even though you may do that in your regular life, but man, I said, no, man, don't do that. If you're going to put a record out, do two versions, do a radio version, and if you want an explicit version, always have a clean version ready, because you never know, a show like yours may not play something that has explicit lyrics in it, but you'll play something that has clean lyrics, so it's always good. My advice to artists to always have a clean and a clean version and an explicit version if you need to do an explicit version.
Man, that's good, man. It does my heart good to see you still giving game to the people out there that's on the rise, and just kind of giving them the bare basics of what business etiquette should be anyway. You should definitely show up on time, especially if you networking, doing any kind of business relations or whatnot, and it's important. DJ Nasty Nes is my guest on Nexxlegacy Radio. You get this man on social media. He's active, right? Nasty Nes 818 on Instagram. That's you, right?
Oh, wow. Yeah. I haven't reached a million. I haven't reached a million followers yet. But if you want to help me get there on Instagram,
let's do it. Let's do it.
It's NASTYNES 818 on Instagram. Facebook, I'm like few heads away from my limit, but you can always check me out on there. It's at Nasty Nes, which is NASTYNES. Twitter, I rarely use Twitter, but you can find me on there at Nasty Nes with the numeric 1. And then if you want to hear all my radio shows, it's on mixcloud.com/Nasty Nes. And if you're interested in seeing what's new and hot in hip-hop, especially independent, unsigned hip-hop, including the new Method Man, I still give him props, go to rapattacklives.com, and then you can see what's hitting on. It's kind of like the billboard for unsigned underground hip-hop. I'm not talking about that other stuff by those rappers that got tattoos on their face and yellow, red, purple hair. I'm talking about the real hip-hop, Just go on rapattacklives.com, because we keep it real. We still support that.
That's what's up. Tell me about the book you're working on, or you have it finished, or what's the deal with this book?
Oh yeah, before I talk about the book, I gotta say I really wouldn't be where I'm at now if it wasn't for martial arts. When I was 13 years old, my Kung Fu teacher, his name is Sifu Taki Kimura, and I was very young at the time, too young to be a part of the John Fan Kung Fu Institute in Seattle, but thanks to my mom, she convinced him to take me in his school. And he, if you don't know the John Fan Kung Fu Institute, it's the original Bruce Lee school in Seattle. He took me under his wings, not only as my Kung Fu teacher, but as my mentor, kind of like what Mr. Miyagi is to Daniel-san on Karate Kid.
Oh yeah.
He was my Mr. Miyagi. And I tell you, because I never had a living full-time father. So my mom had a rough time, a Filipino mom raising me, because I wouldn't listen. I was really stubborn, and she passed away when I was 18. So she didn't have too much control over me, but the only man that really could get to me was my Kung Fu teacher, Taki Kimura. So I got to say that my background learning Wing Chun, Jeet Kune Do, and having him as my teacher, Sifu, and my second father really helped me turn myself into the man that I am today. So my memoir, and that's a word I just recently learned what a memoir was, is a book that I wrote. I wrote about me, and people have been saying, man, you met this star, that star, you've done this and that, you should write a book. But I didn't want it just to be a book about a guy that's Asian in hip hop, like one of the first Asians in hip hop that's done this and that. And what convinced my friend Lover J, who passed away, to really do the book is because I shared with him my life story. And my life story is not just hip hop, Charles. I've gone through a really rough first marriage, which was full of domestic violence. I'm not going to lie. I had a bad temper, but so did she. I'm not gonna lie. I've hit women before. So did she. Because with the way I was raised, I always thought, to get a woman to listen to you, you got to hit them or belittle them with your words. So that's how I was kind of raised with the people I grew up with. But going to anger management really changed my life. The fast life, drugs, all that kind of stuff was a big part of my life. And I want to talk about that and how it affected me now. And so I called the book, the name of the book, the memoir is called Time Out. And the reason why it's called Time Out is when I learned was before you even think about hitting someone or saying something verbally abusive, you say, I'm going to take a time out. And then you say, I'll be back in 5-10 minutes. And you come back in 5-10 minutes. And I'll never forget that. And it worked, So I just remember every time, like Charles, if you're getting ready to piss me off, boy, I'm going to say, Charles, take a time out.
Time out. Hey,
and then I'll walk away.
Yeah, no doubt. That journey alone is one where, a lot of people that's listening probably went through the same thing you went through. You know what I'm saying? So
exactly.
That game like that, though, is super important, though. So it's good, especially if you came out of it, learned from it, and now you're ready to grow. You know what I mean? Like, put all that in the past, but still learn from those moments and just, continue to keep it moving and give game to others. So I love it. I love it.
Yeah. And, I met other people that's been through, I've gone through, and that's what motivated me to really write something about it. I mean, I even spent some time in jail for something I didn't do. So if you can imagine sitting in jail and then seeing the bars close, that big loud noise, and then you're in there innocent, oh man, it really messes with your mind. But spiritually, I'm strong. I got the Lord on my side now, and I'm walking straight line. I'm walking in the light. In the light, Charles.
That's what's up. I love it. When can we expect this? When can we, as consumers, expect this memoir to drop?
I'm probably about a year away from releasing it because I'm doing it. I'm going to do it right. So probably in about a year. But I have a lot of it already done. So if something happens to me before a year is up, I have a lot of it already transcribed. So I have my guy now. His name is John Huguli. He's going to take over and put it together. And, and it's funny, this guy, he writes books, but he's been down with me since he was like 14 years old. He used to go to all the gigs that Nexxlegacy and I used to throw when we were younger. And he remembers me. So for him, it's like an honor to be doing this for me. And to me, it's like an honor to have someone even interested in taking time to do this for me since my man Lover J died, So, man, so that's something I'm looking forward to. And then I've got one of my artists that I have under my wings that I want. My goal is to have another mixed lot that's a female, and I want to go gold. I want to have a Grammy. Her name is JJ Hudson. And I'm really looking forward to pushing her. You can see like one or two of her videos on YouTube. So JJ Hudson, she's also a model, but she's cool, man, and I really believe in her. So that's my next thing in life is JJ Hudson, Time Out, and man, and controlling my temper when I'm around you.
DJ Nasty Nes is my guest on Nexxlegacy Radio, and before we wrap up, I gotta tell you that just through my own personal journey, through music, through personal stuff or whatnot, like one of the reasons why I wanted to seek you out was not just to say thank you, man. I've been watching your career for a long time, but I think a lot of us in this day and age in this business, not just the business of radio, but just in general, like like I was saying earlier, we tend to miss certain moments or whatnot in our lives, our careers, our this, that, and the other. But, one of the highlights you gave me today is just, transparency. And I think a lot of times when you interview somebody, you always just want to say, hey, you know what, just thanks for just not just letting your personality shine, but just being real and just being transparent about the mission that you went through and the mission that you want to have and stuff like that. So I just want to tell you that, but thank you for that. But also, give your own personal shout outs too, man. Just tell the people out there, not just once again where to find you, but man, thank you for everything that you've done, man. You are definitely a footnote in this business of music, but also inspiration moving forward. So give your shout outs, bro.
Okay. I want to add too that one of my next goals is to become a big movie star and TV star. so just wait. You might see me one day become a big movie star, TV star. You can catch me in house parties.
If that's the case.
Yeah. Just keep in touch with me. I got you, Charles. And you can catch me in House Party 4. I'm also in Kung Pao Enter the Fist. If you go on YouTube, if you don't believe me, I was in there. But shout outs, man, I got a lot of shout outs, man. But just I got, well, of course, my Sifu Taki Kimura, who passed away a year ago. My mom, who's not around. She left me when I was 18. She passed away from cancer. I miss her so much. My sister, Ann, who's been one of my biggest inspirations out of New York. My wife, Lola, Sheila, Locke, the High Children, of course, Sir Mix-a-Lot. All my RapAttackLives.com DJs, they keep me alive. Grand Mixer GMS, who does the K-Fox Night Beat show with me every Sunday night at 9 o'clock. Steve Mitchell, he was the first guy who hired me when I was 18 years old. And, man, I'm sure there's a lot more, but that's the basics of everyone I want to give shout-outs to. And shout-outs to, Jeff Kwan. If it wasn't for Jeff Kwan, I won't even know who Charles Branded is.
Hey,
yeah.
Yep, shout out to the homie
Jeff Kwan.
Yes,
yeah, because that's my dim sum partner. And if you don't know what dim sum is, Chinese food, if you go to Chinatown, order dim sum. It's the best food in the whole wide world. I know I'm Filipino. The Filipinos get mad at me. But dim sum is the best food in the whole world. Dim sum, all right? Remember that.
Bad. I'm going to take that on. Like, I definitely want to take, you know what I'm saying, the girl out to Chinese food. I'm going to get it just because you said it.
Bro. Where you at anyway? Where you based out of?
I'm in the Bay, man. Bay Area, born and raised.
Oh, shoot. You know, I used to guest DJ on KMEL back in the, well, I don't know if you were born yet, Cameron Paul era, during that era. And KMEL was the station back then. And
come on, man. Listen, I heard you on the air before, man. Trust me when I tell you I'm a fan of yours. I've heard you before, man. Trust me.
Man, KMEL
you were the guy. You were the guy. Especially when you mention Hammer too. When you mention Hammer, like, you know, close proximity, like, you know, I know that guy not personally like that, but know him enough to know your name rings true in the hallows of hip hop history, my friend. So,
well, I tell you, if it wasn't for KMEL, I wouldn't have known like Sway and Tech. You know, I used to fly out from Seattle to hang out the Sway and Tech show. Big Paul, Latin Prince, Prince Ice, Billy. I can't remember his name. Billy. Well, his name's Billy. I forgot the other name. But all these cats, man, I got to know from KMEL, man, and that's where it really started for me. How I really learned how to change the style of my mixing is because of Cameron Paul, and a guy by the name of Theo Mizuhara. The guy where every girl just fell in love with his voice.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, the Bay Area, man. I love the Bay Area, man. I used to go to the summer jams there, and the Bay Area is the first place that had a fast food Filipino restaurant called Goldilocks. It was the first place ever.
You know it.
Yeah.
You know it.
Mm-hmm.
You know it, Ness.
Yeah.
Small world, but also very connected. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, man, it is a honor and a privilege to have this dialogue, man, for sure, man. I appreciate it.
Word up.
Thank you for listening to the #1 radio station for the people.
Nexxlegacy Radio.